For years, the world believed they knew the Gosselins, the perfect American family with 8 adorable children, a strict but loving mom, and a reality TV dream that captivated millions. But behind the smiles, the matching outfits, and the cheerful family dinners, something much darker was happening. Hannah Gosselin, once the quiet daughter of Jon and Kate, has grown up, and she's no longer staying silent. Her voice now reveals a truth far more complicated than the glossy world of Jon and Kate plus 8. And what she's saying about her mother has left fans heartbroken and speechless. The golden family image that wasn't real. Before Hannah Gosselin could even walk, her life belonged to the public. Born on May 10, 2004 in Hershey, Pennsylvania, she entered a world already defined by cameras, contracts, and expectations. She was one of the famous Gosselin sextuplets, Alexis, Hannah, Aiden, Colin, Leah, and Joel, joining older twin sisters, Mia and Cara. When Jon and Kate plus 8 premiered on TLC in 2007, it was marketed as a heartwarming portrait of a loving couple managing the chaos of 8 children. Millions tuned in each week to watch Kate's no-nonsense parenting style, Jay's laid-back humor, and their adorable brood. But for Hannah, who was only 3 when filming began, that perfect family image was never real. It was a performance she was forced to live. What most viewers didn't realize was that the Gosselin house had stopped being a home. It had become a set. Cameras were installed in almost every room, capturing everything from breakfast routines to bedtime meltdowns. Hannah's laughter, tears, and even her discipline were part of the show's scriptless storyline. "We are all representatives of the brand," Kate would often remind her children. It wasn't just a family. It was a business. Every smile was marketable. Every argument an episode. Every birthday a ratings opportunity. For Hannah, childhood didn't happen behind closed doors. It happened on national television. Behind the cheerful narration and picture-perfect editing, the cracks were already forming. Hannah, naturally sensitive and expressive, struggled with the constant control that defined her mother's household. Kate was famously strict. She scheduled meals to the minute, color-coded clothing, and expected obedience at all times. Viewers often saw her scolding the children on camera, and while some praised her discipline, others felt uneasy. Over time, observant fans began noticing how often Hannah appeared withdrawn or upset, especially during moments of conflict. Life under Kate's roof meant that privacy didn't exist. Even family disagreements were captured for millions to see. Hannah later described that period as ordered chaos, where appearances mattered more than emotions. What the cameras didn't show was the exhaustion, the pressure of always needing to perform, to look happy even when she wasn't. While other children her age played freely, Hannah learned to suppress feelings to protect the family's image. When Jon and Kate plus 8 reached its peak, the Gosselins were everywhere. On magazine covers, talk shows, and even in tabloid scandals. The world adored them. But inside the house, tension grew. Jon and Kate's marriage began to unravel under the spotlight, and by 2009, their divorce turned from private pain into public spectacle. The show rebranded as Kate plus 8, but the magic was gone. The family dynamic was changing, and Hannah, then only 5 years old, was already feeling the emotional cost of fame. The dark side behind closed doors. When Jon and Kate plus 8 first aired, the Gosselins seemed like the ultimate modern family. 8 beautiful kids, 2 dedicated parents, and a cozy home filled with laughter and lessons. But as the lights went off and the crew packed up, a very different reality unfolded within those same walls. Hannah Gosselin, even as a child, could feel that what millions of viewers adored was not what truly happened behind closed doors. Kate Gosselin, overwhelmed by fame, pressure, and the demands of raising 8 children, developed what many described as an authoritarian style of parenting. Rules were absolute, routines were sacred, and mistakes were rarely tolerated. On television, it looked efficient, even admirable. But for Hannah, it felt suffocating. Every day was structured down to the minute. When to wake up, when to eat, what to wear, and even how to smile for the cameras. "We weren't just living," she later admitted. "We were performing." The true darkness, however, came into focus years later when Hannah began to reveal what life inside the Gosselin home was really like, particularly for her brother, Colin. In 2023, during an appearance on Vice TV's Dark Side of the 2000s, Hannah finally broke her silence. Her voice was calm, but filled with weight as she described what the cameras had never shown, her brother's isolation. "He would not get to come outside and play with us. She said he would eat dinner at different times than us." It was a chilling revelation that confirmed what many fans had long suspected. That something wasn't right with how Colin was treated. Hannah revealed that her mother would keep Colin in a separate room, which she referred to as a containment space. There he spent long hours alone away from his siblings without explanation. Years later, Colin himself confirmed the worst, that he had been locked in that room, restrained with zip ties, and watched through security cameras. She had a room built with cameras in it. He told The Sun, "My mother would put me there, bolt the door, and turn the lights off." Kate defended herself publicly, saying that Colin had special needs and that professionals had advised her to send him to a behavioral facility. But the image she presented, that of a struggling mother following medical advice, didn't match the picture painted by her own children. Hannah's recollections made it clear that Colin wasn't a troubled child. He was a silenced one. And his separation from the family wasn't a matter of health. It was punishment. For Hannah, this wasn't just about her brother. It was about fear. Watching Colin disappear from their daily lives left a void she couldn't understand. There was always something missing. She would later say, "We weren't 8 anymore." Even as the show continued, Colin became invisible, edited out of family moments, absent from celebrations, unmentioned on air. Hannah, still too young to speak out, carried the guilt of staying silent. Fans who once saw Kate as a symbol of perseverance began to question her methods. Could the same woman who inspired millions of mothers also have inflicted trauma on her own children? Hannah's quiet testimony suggested exactly that. And as the truth slowly surfaced, it became clear that behind the Gosselins' carefully curated image of order and perfection, there was deep emotional damage, the kind that couldn't be edited out in post-production. Hannah's decision to speak out wasn't about revenge. It was about acknowledgement, giving voice to the moments the cameras ignored. What she revealed in 2023 didn't just expose her mother's darkness. It exposed the price of growing up in a family where love had to fit into a television schedule. For Hannah, silence had protected the family's reputation for years. But speaking up would finally free her from the weight of it, even if it meant facing the painful truth about the woman the world once called America's supermom. Breaking away, the 2018 escape. The tension between Hannah and Kate grew silently for years. By 2018, Hannah was 14 and ready to make a choice that would change her life and the Gosselin family forever. After nearly a decade under her mother's custody, she decided to move in with her father, Jon Gosselin. It was not an easy decision. Kate had won primary custody of all 8 children after the couple's bitter 2009 divorce, while Jon was largely portrayed in the media as the unstable parent. But Hannah saw something different, a chance for peace. Jon, who had been estranged from most of his children, had long accused Kate of being overly controlling. When Hannah began visiting him more often, he noticed how anxious and guarded she was. Slowly, she started spending longer periods at his home until finally she told him she didn't want to go back. Jon later said that Hannah's courage inspired him to fight for custody. She was brave, he recalled. She just wanted to live a normal life. In 2018, after a quiet legal process, Jon was granted full custody of Hannah. Shortly after, Colin joined them after being released from the behavioral institution where he had been placed at age 12. For the first time, 2 of the 8 Gosselin children were free from Kate's control. But this freedom came at a cost. Hannah's relationship with her siblings fractured. Contact became rare. Visits awkward. The once inseparable sextuplets were now divided by distance and loyalty. Some with Kate, others with Jon. The tabloids painted it as another chapter in the Gosselin family feud. But for Hannah, it was something much simpler. Survival. She later described her life with Jon as normal. That word in her world carried enormous weight. After years of filming, scheduling, and discipline, she finally had space to breathe, speak, and feel safe. A daughter's perspective, pain, and compassion. For all the headlines about betrayal and custody battles, Hannah never turned her story into an attack. Her tone, even in interviews, has always been measured, emotional, but controlled. She once said, "My mom wasn't perfect. No parent is." It's a simple sentence, but it reveals her complicated feelings, a mix of pain and compassion that only a child of public chaos could understand. While some of her siblings remained silent, Hannah began to speak about what it was like growing up under constant pressure. She said that everything had to be about the brand, that every argument, every smile, every outfit had to match the image their mother wanted the world to see. For years, she followed those rules. But after moving in with Jon, she realized how different life could be. "I can finally be myself," she said in one interview. "I'm not representing anyone anymore." Jon described his home as a place where Hannah could heal. Gone were the cameras, the rigid meal schedules, the emotional tension. For the first time, Hannah had privacy. She could have friends, make mistakes, and just be a teenager. But even as she rebuilt her life, she didn't forget her siblings. "They're part of me in a way no one else can understand," she said. Hannah often mentioned her sister Leah as the one she stayed closest to. Despite the distance and emotional walls, she never stopped hoping that one day the family could reunite without the cameras, the contracts, or the pain, Colin's voice, and the public fallout. If Hannah's testimony opened the door to the truth, Colin's story blew it wide open. In interviews throughout 2023, he revealed disturbing details about his childhood, claiming that Kate's abuse began when he was 8 or 9. He said he was singled out, punished more harshly than his siblings, and locked away just for being in the way. His words were shocking, but his calm delivery made them even harder to ignore. She had a room built with cameras, he said. It had a bolt lock from the outside. After Colin's statements aired, the Gosselin family was once again thrown into turmoil. Kate responded with a public statement claiming her son had multiple psychiatric diagnoses and suffered from a distorted perception of reality. She defended her actions, saying they were done under professional supervision without second